You're listening to a wee moan podcast with Nads and Joan.
Hi.
Hello. That intro is never going to get old, Joan. Never going to get old.
Thank you
So
to
we need to say
Dad.
we need to say thanks to Dad, Mr. Alistair. And we also need to say a big thank you to Alex for doing our podcast logo.
Yes. Thank you, Alex. And Matt.
Yeah, for our first show. This is number one.
Yeah, this is
a
it.
Pilot of
Okay,
a Wee
so what are we
Moan
going to talk about, Nadia?
podcast. So welcome. So today we're going to be talking all things Harry and Meghan, which has been they've been in the public eye a lot recently. Harry just lost his big case. It's been going on for a year, and he just did a BBC interview. Meghan's been really everywhere. She's been websiting, she's been doing podcasts, she's been doing her cooking show. The girl doesn't skip a beat. So we're just going to be talking all about it, and we're just going to be asking questions as well, like why are they so criticized in the media? Do we like them at all? Like what? Anyway, and you've been reading a book as well, so I want to hear all about everything that you've been finding out.
Yeah. So to kick it all off, Harry's given his recent BBC interview where he just seems like a massive whinge, unfortunately. He's complaining about the fact that they're not going to give him security when him and Meghan want to come back to England. The reason behind that would be they're not giving him security because he is no longer part of the royal family. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's a bit of nuance with it because he is actually getting security. He's just not getting the level of security that he wants, which is the police escort with the 4 cars in front, 4 cars in the back, and the whole bells and whistles. But he is actually getting state paid for security. He's just not getting the level that he wants.
Correct. And I suppose, well, we need to go back to where all this started from. And it all started when a young Harry met a beautiful Meghan Markle. And they were both awestruck and fell completely and utterly in love, which you get because they're both hot, young, successful, and they saw stars in their eyes and went completely gaga, but did not recognise that they were about to bring down one of the biggest institutions in the world and then get teased horrifically. And I shall mention one great teasing by South Park, who just say that they're on their worldwide privacy tour.
Which kind of, it's perfect. I mean,
Just
they
sums it
want
up.
privacy. They wanted privacy, but they also went on a world tour, which,
Yeah, very frustrating. But so anyway, let's go back to, because yes, I have been reading Tina Brown's book, The Palace Papers. Brilliant. It's about all the royal family. But some little funny facts about Meghan. So Meghan grew up on the set of Married with Children. Did you know that?
I did actually know that. Yeah,
Yep,
that's been part of a PR package for a long time. Yes.
Yep. And she also was a what's those girls with the suitcases?
Oh, the Deal or No Deal girl.
She was the Deal or No Deal girl.
Yeah.
And then she clearly finally gets Suits. She's kind of famous. She wants more fame. She is hungry. She's got the TIG. She loves cooking. She's married, divorced, blah, blah, blah. She breaks up. She gets divorced. Then she's living in Toronto, Canada, right? Canada?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With her new celebrity chef boyfriend, who I'm sure was really hot. I don't know, but I'm sure he was. And that's where she learned to cook all that fancy food, which we see in her
okay, I didn't know that. I
boring
didn't know
cooking
she was
show.
inspired by a boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend. Is that where the passion developed?
Yeah, totally. Where she learnt to make a basic tomato passata and then put flowers on things, sprinkled flowers, which are on sale on her website for only $15 a jar.
Which we'll get into, yeah.
So she goes to England, meets Harry, falls madly in love, starts pissing everyone off in the church, not the church, in the royal family.
Yeah.
So funny. Like,
So, like, you had a lot of insight with this because I'm not a big royalist. So, like, when they left, I'm like, yeah, like, get your bag, do your thing. But in all actuality, like, they had kind of planned this for a while. They had like like you were saying that they had the Netflix deals and everything kind of in the background, like percolating as
well, they had
they're
already
getting ready to leave.
They'd already gone to the Queen and said, we want to do this big Netflix deal and documentaries and stuff for their philanthropy and, you know,
Furthering the crown.
All the charities that they support.
Yeah.
And the Queen said, that's fine, but you can't get paid for it. Bonk, bonk. Meghan can't compute.
Which is fair. Yeah, it was just fair. And like, tell us, like, what would they be like? What would their finances be if they were to just be doing the royal?
Apparently, and this is just a quick Google, but I think so. As a royal, you get like a yearly income, and I think it's like £800,000 a year. Not bad.
Not bad.
And with that, you serve the public and go to all these boring functions, and you do. I think you do get a little bit of independence. You can choose who, like, you know, certain causes you want to represent, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they wanted the cake and eat it too. They were like, well, how about we do whatever we want to do, are still royalty, but just choose the charities you want to do. Don't do any of the public appearances. Blah blah blah. And I'm with you.
But,
like, leave the royal family. I would hate to be a royal, but you can't leave the royal family and then say I also want all the benefits.
Especially as the spare, you know, like, I mean, I get it, you know, like you don't really have to be there. You're kind of in the background. You're a bit of a puppet. You're a bit of
lucky
you
him.
know.
Like, I'd rather be the spare than be William.
That's true. But like, so they were negotiating in the backgrounds, is what you're trying to say. They were going back and forward with the Queen, trying to work out a deal that can kind of suit their aspirations. And suit their back pocket, basically.
Yeah. And then there was also this particular scenario. So of course she gets pregnant. So they do the big wedding. Let's talk about like the big wedding, right? And as I've said to you previously, you know, Oprah's there.
Yeah. Can we just talk about the guest list?
Yeah.
Let's
so
talk about the guest list.
No, apparently she'd met Oprah once.
Yeah.
So
George Clooney. Who else was there?
Mal.
I mean, okay, so Serena Williams, we've established that they are actually quite friendly.
They are.
But I don't think she knew George.
No, George doesn't. George and Amal don't know her at all. So George and Amal were questioned in the pew. As you say at a wedding, you turn to someone who's in the same thing sometimes. And you might say to them, who are you here for? Like, are you the bride? Oh, are you the bride or the groom? And they say, neither. We don't know them.
I mean, that speaks like a lot to where they're at when it comes to how they want to be seen, like what they want to present. They're presenting themselves as highly connected.
Yeah.
Like Oprah, like for instance, Oprah. I mean, she's
Oprah.
royalty. She's US royalty. She is honestly US royalty. So why
didn't Oprah should have said to them in the interview, why did you invite me to your wedding? Like, why was I front row at your wedding? I mean, it's a little bit, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine.
And the father and the half sister and all that weren't there, you know, and that's where that really speaks to their values and like what, you know, you do have to sort of start questioning. We're not going to judge because we don't know exactly went down with the parents and with everything, but still you're going to start questioning where their values lie when Oprah and George are sitting in the front seats and not their family members.
Yeah,
right?
Like they've just gone completely gaga and lost their minds and become completely fame hungry, and gone on a worldwide privacy tour. And the answer is yes. So, but then there's also this period of time where Meghan has baby Archie. They don't do the royal photo outside. You know, when the old man like dings a bell and the
There's always the photo,
Yeah. It's
the announcement and the photo. I don't know about the bell, but there's always a
an
photo.
old man like chimes a bell and the royal heir has been born.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe they did that.
Heralding the new
exactly.
era. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but no. So yeah, there was no photo, and then they sort of they're like, look, we're going to take 6 months off, but they did not take 6 months off. They managed to zoom around the globe, go to Elton John's like amazing house in somewhere, go to numerous different parties, and they took a private jet, the royal private jet, out four times in like 11 days. It's a lot of private jetting.
Yeah.
During which time there also a whole lot of contradictions. They always contradict themselves. So during this time they're traveling on the private jet, with their baby Archie, taking a break and getting some privacy. They go to like a Google conference with all of like Zuckerberg and all those types of people walking around barefoot talking about how great they are for the planet. And Harry gives a speech in which he says he only wants to have 2 children because he doesn't want a big carbon footprint on the earth, and then jumps in his private jet and flies to Monaco. And it's oh my God, did you like seriously?
Two things can't be in the same world. They're just I get it.
You need to think that through.
Yeah,
they didn't.
So, but in this time frame is when things are
rocky
with the God, what's Williams? Kate. Right, they're rocky with Kate. The Queen's saying sort of
I like Kate. She's just a true, she's just a stoic, strong.
She's a true professional. I'm sure she's got her own issues, but she doesn't talk. She doesn't talk about them.
No. Well, she makes a quick cancer video and gets on with it.
Yeah. So around about this time, we're getting the cracklings of probably a lot of stuff in the press about how Meghan's not that nice to her.
Well, I just read.
Did you read about that?
There was a lot of staff fired in a very short period of time. So there
a lot of whispers.
So there has been there was a lot of staff fired. Like, you can't deny that. I can't give you all their names and stuff, but apparently the royal family is fairly known for having their staff around for a long, long period of time. But yeah, she got rid of quite a few. She just didn't understand the protocols and the way things work. And again, I'm not suggesting she should. I imagine it would be a nightmare. But you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
So then they go about and they create their website, which we could actually do a screen grab of, Nadia. Yes, they do their they create their website, Royal Sutton.
Yep.
And present it it gets leaked first. So it gets leaked, Royal Sutton, where it describes them as, I don't know, like they're royals, but they sort of do their own thing as well. They present it to the Queen. They go into a meeting with
hang on,
the royal family.
It got leaked. You're saying that they potentially leaked it before the Queen could say yes or no, maybe to give pressure?
Exactly. That's what they say.
Insinuating. Okay.
Yes, to hijack, completely sideline the Queen.
Yeah.
And the Queen doesn't have a bar of it, pretty much says no immediately. And within 2 hours, she's like, you're out. You've lost it.
Right. Your positions.
Yeah. And your royal
but at the
titles.
same time, there's this, like what happened with Meghan, with her being very, there was a lot of stuff around her being not happy. Like when that interviewer asked her.
Okay, so I've got something on that too, Nadia. Thank you for asking.
Go on.
Okay, so when she's in, she's in Africa. Can you see that now? Yeah.
I'll pull that up for you.
Thank you. She's somewhere in Africa, and that's when that journalist says to her, and are you okay?
Yeah.
And she's like, thank you for asking, like no one asks. And that's her moment of, no one had asked me how I was until that moment. The thing is, you're in Africa doing a tour, and I'm sure you've like just gone through some pretty third world areas with women who are doing it pretty tough.
Yeah.
So again, it's like, oh my God, like what about them? Like you're supposed to be advocating
Yeah.
for these other women, and you're standing there having a sook because because I don't know, because you're tired and you feel bullied. Like some people can't eat.
No.
It's just
But
so tone deaf.
Something that comes to mind is like a bit of a cultural thing where the English, maybe even the Europeans, they sort of like stuff things down, whereas the Americans are really like hard on the sleeve, kind of like wear their emotions on their chest. Maybe there was a bit of a cultural thing, like no one really like asked her how she was and if she's doing like, you know, like she just had to kind of like make do. I'm playing devil's advocate here, you know, like to try and see her perspective. I mean, I know,
but it always comes down to, again, of course people have feelings and life gets tough no matter who you are. But at the end of the day, you have millions of dollars. You are flying around in a private jet. You can have anything you want.
Yeah.
People are going to get annoyed if you complain. Like, just complain quietly.
Yeah. And look, at this stage, like, people are a little bit more compassionate, and but you know, this is early days, so we don't really know what's happening. So we can kind of be like, okay, well, this is like, you know, strike one, if you will. You know, like we don't know exactly what's going on in behind the scenes. Who knows? How
I don't think I actually cared. I don't think at the time that I was like watching it going, oh, Harry and Meghan. The only time I actually started caring is when they came out and started telling everyone how awful their life was.
Yeah,
Again.
well, that was the big shift for me, really, because I'm like, you know, and I'll get you to get the screens up for you, but I was very much like, I don't care about the royal family. Like, you want to leave the royal family, great, get your bag, do what you need to do. But then when you left, you were on Oprah, you were doing a show, and you basically you betrayed your entire family, Harry. Then you did what else was the show? Oh, and the book. Oh my God, I don't want to forget the book.
I haven't read the book. Have you read the book?
I've read, you know, like I've heard people talk about the book and like the referencing the bits that are important. I'm sure, you know, like I'm not that into the royal family, so I wasn't that interested. But to be honest, like, how can you betray your family? Like, when you leave, you know, I think leave quietly. Do what you need
quietly.
To do. Why did
be
you
royal about it, Harry? Stiff upper lip. Be royal. Don't go out with a massive whinge.
They needed to be the victims, and that's where that's where my sticking point is. That's where I'm like, it's like, stop that.
Stop
it. You know, you've got what you wanted. You got $100 million deal. You know, why are you still fighting for, you know, like, I don't know. I don't even like. And anyway, we will get into like the one other sticking point that I have. Actually, I've got many, but the one other one is them wanting to use their royal names.
Yeah.
When it comes to anything moving forward, publicity and all that sort of stuff. But we will talk about that. But tell us what you've got on the screen there.
Oh, well, this is their official website. So this is what they've been like, kind of like trying to paint themselves as. That he's the Duke of Sussex, a humanitarian, military veteran, mental health advocate and environmental campaigner who flies around on a private jet.
So this is a PR.
And they just go on.
The start of the PR kind of machine, like to try and, you know, present themselves as, you know.
I don't
part
understand.
of the establishment, but not, you know, like, I don't understand their positioning now. Because it's like,
Nadia, you need to mention what was that thing in that boring podcast where Meghan and her best mate who lives next door to Oprah just go on, gush at each other for an hour.
Yeah. So
What was
yeah. So Meghan was recently on a podcast, Makeup Free, which was an interesting tie to Pamela Anderson, which we're going to be doing a show on, the contrasting those two girls.
Love it.
But so she was on a podcast with Jamie Leem Kerner. I hope I didn't butcher her name. She is a self-made billionaire. Really interesting story. Was a
It Cosmetics
makeup founder, and sold her company for billions of dollars, or $1 billion. Anyway,
yeah.
Meghan moved into her neighborhood, and they're good friends. And so, yes.
Sorry, can I just say something?
Yeah,
they
go
say,
for it.
I didn't even know who. Oh God, sorry. She's like, I didn't even know who you were when you were just my neighbor. I'm like, okay, but
you knew exactly.
your other neighbors are Oprah and Gwyneth Paltrow, so clearly she's not a nobody.
Yeah.
I didn't even know who you were. You could have been anyone. Doubt it. She's clearly a billionaire.
Yeah. And look, I don't think that it's a mistake that they, of course, align themselves with very famous, very wealthy, very connected individuals. I don't think I think the patterning of what we've seen illustrates that that's part of the game here. But I just, I found it really interesting that I don't have a visual of it, but you can imagine. Jamie brought up the fact that she had her parents over for the weekend. She was quite stressed, and that basically the entire podcast was them, an hour and a half of them gushing about each other.
Yeah.
Meghan sent a care package of ice cream and some preserves over to Jamie.
Yeah, of course.
And Jamie showed a picture.
She was stressed.
Because she was stressed. But Jamie showed a picture.
Stressed.
Jamie showed a picture of this basket of goodies, and on the ice cream was a card from Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. No, Meghan, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. So she used the HRH title.
Is she allowed?
Well, this is where we're getting into some semantics, because they're not allowed to use that in any public PR-related stunts. But Meghan and Harry argue that was a private thing. But I would argue that
they've actually spoken about it.
Yeah, so I would argue it's the lamest thing. Like, if you're a really good friend of someone, can you imagine if I'm like, send you a care package and I write your Royal Highness, what? Like, with a crown on it? Like, that's your mate. Just write a little hand thing. Like,
yeah,
it goes to show you the level, how they want to align themselves has to be, and how they want to impress. And like, it's also like, you've left the royal family. You made a huge fuss about it.
You had a huge
fuss.
It's
okay it's okay to use their name.
You called them racist. Yep. Yeah.
Like, why can't you be Meghan Markle, or now you're Meghan Wales Mountbatten? Like, why isn't that enough? And that, look, I mean, we'll talk about the show, her saying, I'm Sussex now. I mean, really, no one knows her as Meghan Sussex, and that is, I don't know. I found it perplexing.
Well,
and
if you listen to the podcast, they call each other M and H, and it's so cute. I call him H, and he calls me M, and it's just so authentic.
Yeah, it is a bit nauseating, and like, I think I think even the true devoted, the people that have devoted themselves in championing these two are really starting to question everything, especially after the stunt he pulled with the BBC interview. That was
he just
pretty
looks confused in that interview. He's confused and angry. He's put himself in a really hard place.
He looks very angry.
He doesn't know how to get out. He's suggesting that everyone wants to kill him.
Yes,
I'm just like,
I noted that.
Does everyone want to kill you? Like, I mean,
but Joan, he wants reconciliation. So he wants that just encapsulates everything for me.
Confusion.
Like they want one, it's just completely confused.
Yeah.
On one hand, they want to kill you. On the other hand, you want reconciliation. On one hand, you don't want to be part of the royal family. On the other hand, you want to be using their titles. What is it?
And also, I mean, like, you know, and again, the royal family, I would hate to be part of the royal family. But, you know, you're talking about women like Camilla Parker Bowles, who has been called an ugly old horse with a face like a pie that's the Queen. She's now the Queen. Okay. For over 60 years. Like, she has been ripped through.
I don't mean to laugh, but yeah.
But it is funny. Apparently they've got like pie. You can go out to a pub in England and you can order like a Camilla Parker Bowles pie. Because she has just been completely dragged through all sorts of
decimated.
Yeah. And so she'd be like, oh my God, Meghan, like, come on. I've put up with way worse than that. And she has.
Yeah. Do you really think that they were racist towards her?
I mean, I reckon they are racist. Of course the royal family are racist. It's like, again, it's ridiculous to be like, oh, are they racist? Yes, they're racist. They've colonized the entire world.
That's the thing as well. I think, you know,
surprise.
Harry's a chip off the old block. I think that they're both, two things can be right at the same time. The royal family can be racist and Harry and Meghan can be completely obnoxious, you know, at the same time.
And also, you know, them having a conversation about what colour Archie was going to be. I mean, you do talk about what the baby might look like. I don't know if...
No.
But like but when people get together and have a baby, you are like, I wonder what the baby's going to look like.
No, I mean, black people world over have said we always ask that. It's not. But I think that Meghan in the Oprah interview was saying that there was concerns about the color of his skin. Like, well, that's okay. Well, that's leaning towards racism, obviously. But I don't know. Now that you say that they had the Netflix deals lined up, they certainly didn't do it for free. It was 100. I think the Spotify deal was 100 million. Sorry, the Netflix deal was combined. It was astronomical. Astronomical.
Yeah, didn't you say 100 million?
Yeah. Like no, they were big deals. The show that she just did with Love Meghan was for 8 episodes. It was 48 million or just under 50 million. So she's going to get another. She's going to get another lot for the next.
And then you're asking for the British public to pay for your security. It's too much.
No, it is too much. And I would argue, Joan, that they wouldn't require this level of security if they had just
not gone on their privacy world tour. But what was I going to say about? Okay, so make a prediction about what is going to happen to Harry and Meghan. We're coming up to about 30 minutes, so let's just end on a prediction. What will happen to Harry and Meghan in the next few years? Yeah. I predict that Harry misses his old English roots in which he would go out shooting with his friends and have a cup of tea and, you know, and go out in his Wellingtons and whatever, fox hunting. And he's now living in California with...
So separated.
Eating tofu and talking about wellness. Oh, I don't know. I do think they're madly in love.
Okay.
But I think he misses his home. What do you think?
I think their relationship is strained. I think I watched a body language expert look into the Jamie podcast, you know, the podcast with Meghan.
Eat Cosmetics, yeah.
With It Cosmetics. And when she asked Meghan, are you going to be married forever or something, she went up a few octaves. She was like, yes. That was a massive telltale sign of a lie. And then she used two qualifiers, which was, you know, he's a fox, don't you? Like all of that. That was a qualifier. So if you tend to over exaggerate, anyway, my point is, I think they want to present a certain way, but I think that with the weight of the world on them, and how desperate they are to be liked, and they're very, very image conscious. I do think that there is a strain there in the marriage. But I do believe that they've got each other. Like they've literally, and that's a lot of the reason why Harry misses home, is because he doesn't have, like it's all new people, and it's, he's only known his wife for 8 years or something. So like,
I mean, he's been in the army. He's gone to Afghanistan. He's, like he was in Afghanistan. He's grown up in incredibly posh private boys' schools with like a boys' club. He'd have really strong ties and roots in England. And now he's whinging and he doesn't, his brother, etc. I do feel sorry for him in that way, but he needs to, imagine he just stood up and said, you know what? I've been a huge whinge. I'm sorry. Me and Meghan want to do it both ways. We'll carry it. We're happy to pay for our security. That would be it.
Yeah. I do think Harry's a chip off the old block. I do think he's quite entitled. I don't think how you could, to his defense, I don't think how you could not be if you were grown up in that, like you say, private boys' school, gold spoon in your mouth. Like, how do you not be entitled being Harry, Prince of Wales? Like, it's pretty mega. And to stay grounded and to stay, like, I do think he is entitled. Like, I don't think he's a normal person. That's why he wants security.
No, he also doesn't understand the basic concept. Like, he's like, I need to get back to England to run my charities, and I do all these charitable events. All those charitable events and everything, all the charitable work you do are because you are Prince Harry. Like, So once you say, I don't want to be Prince Harry, you don't then get to do all of those things. I mean, some people do get to a part of their life where they work for charities, or some people spend their entire lives working for charities and making not very much money at all, or doing it for free. And again, you've just got this big Harry. You're so out of touch. I don't know how she's so out of touch, because she's kind of normal.
No, but I think she's just doesn't. Once she's got a taste of that life, I don't think she can go back, and I think she's there's something that's affecting her that it really wants. She needs all the famous friends, and and to align herself with the Oprahs of the world. And I've got another question for you. Like, how do you think that they can rehabilitate their image now? Like, how can they get to a space where they're a little bit more like his mother, and her reputation?
Yeah, well, I think that's exactly where Harry would have wanted Meghan to be perceived, and that definitely. But well, I mean, does it matter? Like they still get huge amounts of attention. Here we are talking about them. I think they just need to accept how they are seen, and they'll just keep making really boring Netflix shows. I mean, they've been pretty boring. Like the interview was with Oprah when they first left was interesting because it was, anyway. But her cooking show is very boring. But as you know, she's got another series. But it did really well, right? And his book was hugely successful.
Yes.
And also, so.
But he's sold all his secrets now. The allure and the novelty of all of those things are gone. Like,
they'll just continue to whinge.
Well, that's got to get old very quickly. I don't think they're not gonna score any points with that. So I mean, in my book, I feel like they could really help themselves by being realer, being more vulnerable, not pretending like everything is glossy. Like even anyway, we'll talk more about her show soon enough.
Yeah. Let's wind this one up because my parents are about to walk in the door and we're almost at 34 minutes. But yeah, we do need to talk about Harry and Meghan's show because it is so incredibly boring. And her products And I'm not just being mean when I say it's incredibly boring. It is quite boring. I would have loved for it to be good recipes and interesting, as Pamela's is. But
Well, Jodie's literally leaving as it's in a rush. All right. So good to have had everyone listen to our first episode. Be patient with us. This is our first one. We've had a lot of technical issues. As we move forward, we are just going to be improving as we go. So welcome to the show, and until next time.
Thanks to Alex and Alistair one more time.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Och, that's enough moaning for today, lasses. See you next week.